I want to welcome Mickey and Robert, who agreed to be our presenters this evening. Just like you again, like myself and David, we were skeptical the first day. We went with it, we gave it a try, and here we are this evening. Robert and Mickey.
All right, hold them about right here.
Right about there.
No, if I take it, I may say something I regret.
That's okay. Dell already said a few things I regret.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, so Bob and Mickey, they joined. How long have you been a member? Members.
Actually joined in 2016, but the thing about it is I probably first heard Dell on the radio. Well, what I was able to track down is I signed up for his email newsletter back in 2009.
Wow.
And I still got those emails.
All right.
Yes, he does.
Okay, so just like a lot of people, for you out of Houston, not in the Houston market, a lot of, it's a big city for oil and gas. And just like myself, I worked in oil and gas for all my career. Bob still works in oil and gas, and Mickey is retired. Very good.
Except I do go drive around and pick out, I do drive around and go pick out houses that we want to invest. Now we're going to move up.
All right. So tell us, why did you join Lifestyle?
It was mostly to be able to take over my finances, financial freedom, because being in oil and gas, any of them that's in there, it is cyclical. There's ups and downs, and so when the stuff goes down, you're always wondering, are you going to get laid off?
Yes, that is correct. So when it's good, and when it's bad, it's really bad in
Yes.
oil and gas. But anyway, so for your property tonight that you are going to share with us, it's this beautiful home in Conroe. It's up north of Houston, about 45 minutes from here,
Yes.
right? And near the Woodlands. I feel like it's halfway to Dallas once you reach Conroe.
No, that's where we actually live, is halfway to Dallas.
You are almost to Dallas. So tell us a little bit about this house. How did you find out about it?
It came out on, it's an interesting story behind it because it came out on the email blast. It came out just before the expo. And so I went and I reached out to Moon to say, is it still available? Because I figured, by now it was already taken. He said, no, it was available. So tagged it, went and looked at it. And actually, we even have our son with us here. And so we started this process during the whole time that the expo was going on.
Okay.
So really quick, for new folks here, what an email blast is, I'll teach you about that this weekend. Lifestyles really actually sends out deals to people with an already evaluated deal. Who thinks that'd be an easy way to learn how to invest? I'll talk more about that this weekend, but that's how they found this deal.
All right. So I see there was a window unit there, and I'm guessing that.
Well, when we walked up on that, the door was wide open. There was a window unit there. It, for a first deal, it was scary.
Okay. This is the back of the house.
Yes.
So for the new members here and the ones that are on the fence, this is nothing scary at all. This is what we like to buy. In fact, I would not buy a house that looks like the picture on the right.
Yep.
I would like to buy the one on the left. So you told me that as I was talking to you, this was a hoarder house.
Well, actually, what it was is it was a flood property. So, there were still some of those properties that were flooded from Harvey. And when we started to clean it out, we also found out it was a crack house. We'd found there was
So it had amenities.
Yes, it had the amenities.
Yes, it did.
And actually, when we first basically bought it, our neighbors were going, oh, yeah, it was a drug dealers, that the people that lived there would drop out the drugs at night. So they were absolutely ecstatic that we were buying it and fixing it up. But part of what the story there doesn't talk about is how actually it was scary for me. On the fact is, the day that I was supposed to close on it, as I was driving to closing, well, before I left to go to closing, I found out from my boss I was being furloughed 50% of the time. And so I called my wife and I called my lender. And it was like, can I still go with this? And they said, they ran the numbers and they said, if you want to, you can. And so it was a birthday I will remember because I closed on this deal knowing that I was going to be furloughed 50% of the time.
Now, really quick, you said something.
Yes.
You said you cleaned it out. You did all this work? You worked on this house?
Well, we did do one thing on it,
What?
which was we actually, to save some money because I was being furloughed, I did something we're not supposed to do, but I did do it because it was about $1,000 we were saving, and we actually did the clean out, and that's the only thing we did.
Well, just so you know, every time you lift up a hammer, you lose money. Am I right?
But we
teach you
didn't
to not have a job, but he wanted to practice being a cleaner one time.
Yeah, and the thing about it was I had 50% of my time free. I had to do something with it.
That's true.
But I didn't lift a hammer.
That's right.
I just cleaned trash out.
You just lift up crack bags. It's okay.
Yep. Now,
The needles.
the one thing that is memorable and that my son definitely wanted to make sure that got into these things here is when we went and did this, is if you look here at this ceiling fan, okay, this is not a wire lug. This is a Lego. This is a ceiling fan that they wired with a extension cord so they could have a ceiling fan in that room, and they did it with Legos. We clipped those as memorabilia.
All right. Okay, so let's talk about the numbers here.
Okay, so the numbers,
So the purchase price was $75,000. So when Moon sent out the blast, he sent it for a $75,000 purchase price. The rehab, which is the amount of money that we put into the house to bring it up to what it looks now, was $76,000. Okay, your out of pocket was roughly about $15,000. Okay, the rent is $1,825. The cash flow is $676 a month. What I want to emphasize here that the $676 is actually tax-free. So after you collect the rent and you pay the mortgage, which is the difference between $1,825 and $676, you get to put money in your bank account in the amount of, well, he does, in the amount of $676 a month, okay, which is a return, a cash-on-cash return of 55%, okay? So imagine if you had taken $15,000 into the bank and they give you every month $676.
Who'd be okay with that?
I would be okay with that.
Is your IRA, your TSP, your 403B paying you 50% a year? What's the technical term when you make that kind of return?
in the past, exciting.
See, I want to make sure Dell heard that. It is. It is. But not only that, he had capital gains. What do you have?
Not only that, he got a capital gain of almost $29,000. So while he was collecting or making $676 a month, he also had almost $29,000 in that house as an equity that is unrealized.
Yeah,
Let's
so
keep that in mind.
that would be like buying a stock for 15 grand. If you sold it a year later, you made 30 grand. Who'd be okay with that?
It's like a savings account if you can
Yeah.
think about it that way. Okay. However, so the story does not end here. This house was purchased in 2020.
Correct. Just before COVID, so it was in
Just before-
2020.
Hey, COVID.
Yes.
So-
Okay.
And it was rehab during COVID, which made it a little bit more challenging because finding contractors and people willing to go
That's
out.
because
and all
half
that.
of everybody died.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay. So while everybody's at the expo, Bob and Mickey are out buying a house. So they bought this house right before the pandemic hit in 2020. And what they decided to do in 2022, about 2 months ago, was to do a cash out refi. Okay. So when they bought the house, this was in 2020, the appraised value is $180,000, okay? 2 years later, in 2022.
You're supposed to go, but wait, there's more.
Oh, but wait, there is more.
More.
It had gone up in value about $100,000 over the course of 2 years. And so what Bob decided to do is...
I went and did a cash out refi.
Cash out
Now, I
refi.
could have pulled it, I could have sold it and took the whole $140,000 and reinvested it, but I wasn't quite ready to leave that property yet.
Okay.
It was cash flowing a nice 600, but what I did is I went ahead and did a cash out refi, pulled out 36,000. So now I have zero of my own money invested in that house.
So you originally put out 15.
Well, actually, it's a little bit more than that, but
Wow. And then you got back 36.
yep.
Yes.
How much taxes did you pay on the 36 grand? Zero, because
Zero.
the loan, it's not a sale.
That is correct. However, and while he still has about $92,000 equity in the house.
Wow.
Okay.
And
cash
it's still cash flowing me. That says 160, but it's actually cash flowing me closer to 200.
Yes.
And what are you guys going to do with that 30-some thousand dollars you pulled out?
Putting it into another property, another
Really?
single family.
So it's a little bit addictive, huh?
Yeah, it is.
Except we're not cleaning them.
You're not cleaning them this
No,
time.
we're not cleaning
You
them
can
this
spend the extra 1,000.
Yes.
Okay, I'm just making sure we're learning. Okay.
Well, also, I don't have this free time now.
Oh, you're not furloughed anymore.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes. Okay. So how has your life changed since joining Lifestyles?
It gave me more security towards knowing that I don't really have to worry about if there is furloughs. And it's made it to where I feel a little bit more financially secure, but we'll let her give her a.
Me, I know I won't ever get Social Security because I was a teacher. Guess what? That's all changed, so you don't get what you really put in. It's less. But I'm retired because I don't worry about that money that's socked somewhere that I don't know if I'll ever get out.
Probably.
Because this was the right move, and we are passing it down to both of our children.
Yep.
All
And
right.
that's a legacy I'd rather keep.
Which brings me to the goals, right? Short-term goals is to do.
Some more, another single family. We're actually helping our son get his first deal. We're actually working at one right now.
Awesome.
And so
And then we have
I actually had two or three others that just fell in my lap that we'll probably be hopefully closing on here within the next month.
Okay, very
So,
good.
and then,
long-term, we want those apartments.
There you go.
but we want to be passives on the apartments.
Yeah,
And-
passives. Oh.
And we also want to help our daughter get her first.
Very good, very good. So who was on your team while doing all these?
For our mentor, we had Sorrel. Realtor was Moon, and he's awesome. Our lender was AMP and Red Door. Red Door was our hard money. AMP was our conventional. We had Boost Foundation. I had inspections by
Is it
MPI.
Okay.
Steve, he was great, and he's actually coming up to do our inspections of our other properties. A few of them that aren't mentioned on there, which I have to put a shout out for, is Loyalty Plumbing.
Yes.
And I tell you what, they are phenomenal on being able to help you guys out. And if it wasn't for Novak, we would have never had the money because we pulled all the money out of our.
And Henry
401k.
Novak's a lawyer with 401ks. I'll teach you
Yes.
about that this weekend.
Yes, yes.
Because without him, we would have never been able to do it. And Mike, the credit guy,
Okay.
if it wasn't for him, again,
Mike
that's
Doyle.
why-
Yep. Mace.
yep. So
Okay.
without them, we wouldn't be here.
See how they use the whole team. I want you all to do this for yourself. I want you to make the returns, but don't do it by yourself. Investing is a team sport, and having mentors and having these vendors, this whole team with you, makes it much easier. So,
It's true. Do you have any questions?
yeah, let's take a couple questions for you. Anybody in the audience have a question?
Gordon has a question.
Can I steal one of your microphones? All right, where's Gordon? Right. Oh, Gordon. Hey, how you doing, brother?
Who was your contractor?
Contractor, I'd rather not mention.
He didn't like his contractor. Okay. Anybody else?
But it is harder now where we're living.
Yeah,
Contractor.
in the area we're at now, we basically have to find local contractors. And
They're a little bit.
believe it or not, Lowe's actually, since they do have lifestyle things, they actually do a lot of things less expensive for roofs and things like that.
Do you have a question? No?
We're good.
David, do you have
David,
a
you got
question?
any online?
I don't have any questions online yet.
I have one question.
Well, we got one way back there. Hold
Oh,
on.
okay. I'll hold my question.
Jacob's playing a game with you right now.
Is it dead?
Do you need another one? Here. You just want me to get exercise because I'm fat. Hold on.
There-
Go ahead, Lisa. Lisa, you have a smiley face. I like that.
I do. I had it from her. I wanted to find out, what did you do about funding? How did you find the person? How did you figure out all the numbers? Because, new people may not know that.
Okay, so remember, Lisa's brand new to this. She's whoops, I'm sorry. It's okay. Now I kill his feet. So Lisa's brand new, hasn't been here before. So how do you learn how to do all this, figure out the numbers, all that?
Well, after the 2-day, they teach you a lot of that the 2 days, but then we utilized Quest to go and look at to see if the numbers made sense. And so with that, we were able to see what our estimated costs were going to be for closing and all that, what the market surrounding there was going to be for rent comparisons. And we actually had a renter moved in there the day that our inspection finished. So we had 0 vacancy from the time that it got released to be able to go and have renters. And from my first renter to my second renter, the biggest issue I had on that was the first renter moved out, and I had my second renter moving in, and I had basically a week to get the place cleaned out. And Fantastic Floors did a great job for me on that.
So what you're going to learn, if you decide to come to my seminar this weekend, we're just showing you an example really quick up here, but I break down step by step how to do it. One of the most fun things I do in my seminar is I go live on the internet and I find a property. What better way to teach you than to find a property live on the internet and someone can buy it that day, and we break down numbers step by step? Who thinks that'd be fun? And my goal is typical deals out of pocket in today's market, it's about 30 grand. Now, this is a grand slam, it was about 15, but the average deal is about 30 grand. So it does take money to invest in this. You need about 30 grand. But I'll find one this weekend for about 20 out of pocket, and we could double our money. Would that be worth coming to turn 20,000 to 40,000? Who agrees? Kind of what they did? That's what we're gonna do this weekend.
Okay, I have one last question for you, Bob, just for the, the new members or the people that have questions. How did you, who helped you lease your property?
Who helped me lease my property?
Yeah, did you hire someone or you did it
No.
yourself?
The neighbors and people, I guess the word got around.
Use the microphone. Sorry. People online.
The neighbors started talking about us and what we were doing, and we changed the front of it so it looks more inviting, yeah. And they did a great job on that ease. That was the perfect idea to put that up. And then people started driving by
Okay, so
and watching us or the contractor do the work and stuff like that.
Okay, so
We did 2 things on it. One, the thing they teach you in the 2-day is we got the sign out there right away. And then we basically posted it online.
okay, very good.
And we didn't pay for any of that. Now,
So I break it down step by step exactly what you do, how to do that in the seminar. All that's, I know you have a lot of questions, and we break it down step by step. Here's how you advertise, here's how you screen your residents, here's how we do the rehab, step by step how to do all that.
oh yeah, and NTN was also another vendor of ours. And one other thing to the husbands, if you get into this, let me forewarn you, you're always going to hear it from your wife that the rental houses look better than your house.
Absolutely. Let's give them a hand. Thank you so much for sharing the story, guys.
Thank you.